blue, I crawled alone. The wreckage of what now is gone. Back to you to fight another day. I'll go on and on and on and on. I'll face it, the demons I created with every last part of me. The pain will fade and I'll go on and on and on and on. Black and blue, I crawl to you. Black and blue, I crawl to you.
Okay, okay, we'll take it from here. Hello, YRC people. It's YRT SmackDown number 19. Like 19 different ways to put this. 15 episodes ago in episode 4, we talked about the Nick sitcom episode, which is up there with some of the most legendary stuff we've ever done. So now we have to talk about
the cartoon.
Yeah, the Nicktoons episode. Now, let me give you a brief history. Once upon a time, in around the late 80s, early 90s, the people at Viacom and Nickelodeon, they were looking at Disney and how well they were doing with their various sitcoms, which gave Nick an idea. We're going to have a talent search, and it's going to be tubular. Because that's what they said in the 90s.
Yeah.
So what was that talent
One
search?
thing that said...
Yeah, what was that talent
What
search?
was it?
All that. All that in a bag of chips.
All of that is unique among Nick sitcoms because not only is the cast like majority like children, but it's also majority. But in the beginning, it was also majority African American.
Yeah, and another thing about all that was it sparked 2 of the biggest comedians of all time, Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell.
Oh, here it goes.
We're going to have to talk about Good Burger. Welcome to Good Burger. Well, the Good Burger can
The movie can be its own episode.
Really? The movie could be its own episode?
We're talking about Nick sitcoms. We're not talking about Nick movies.
Yeah, the only movies we're going to talk about is something that's going to come along down the line. The thing about all that was very successful, and it jump-started a lot of people's careers. Now, I have to... Oh. Now, okay then.
We don't talk about the current one. Yeah, the current one kind of sucks, but Kel Mitchell's executive producing it, so it's in good hands.
Yeah, so but this isn't the only time they did it. I'm sorry, people who like the 90s sitcoms, but we don't know that much about the 90s sitcoms. And as you know, if we don't know something a lot about a certain topic, we're going to have to skim through it. So the 90s was fun. Oh, what was the other one that did? Oh, yeah. Let me sing it. Amanda show. Yes, Amanda.
Oh, great! You woke up the girl. Oh crap! You woke up that girl in my basement. I told you not to come out. I heard Amanda. Where's Amanda? I must meet Amanda.
Amanda, please. God.
Oh my God! Don't encourage her.
Now, the Amanda show was like the second all that, where there was another talent search run mostly by kids, hosted by the one and only Amanda Bynes. Ew.
Back before she became all weird.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that chick?
I like to think she went the Miley Cyrus route. You know,
so
like
she became
started out as a goofy, lovable child star and then become a full-blown slut in a couple decades?
Easy, I was drinking water. Now, the Amanda Show. It sparked many particular stars, but the thing about the Amanda Show is that it sparked one of the biggest sitcoms. Another thing, it had. I remember both sitcoms had someone behind them, Dan Schneider. Now we're gonna talk about the dark side. We're gonna talk about the dark side of him in a little while, but we got to talk about his quote unquote first show. Drake and Josh. If you open up your mind. Oh, Drake
the Amanda
and Josh.
Show was the weirdest. Was one of the coolest sketch comedies of the 2000s. Drake and Josh was the definitive sitcom of the 2000s.
Yes, seriously. It's Drake and Josh was the sitcom. You got the handsome guy and you got the fat guy. You got Megan.
One thing I will say right now, their humor has went downhill across the seasons. Like from one of the later seasons, I remember, Drake, you don't need a hot dog wearing a tuxedo. This hot dog's not wearing a tuxedo.
Another thing I remember, but you have to remember this one joke. Drake, where's the door hole? I drew it on the
right there. See, I drew it somewhere.
You were supposed to rock it out with the power saw.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So go get the power saw.
What? Okay, fine, I will. I see the problem.
Do ya? Now that's the Drake and Josh meme that everyone loves.
And everyone likes to make parodies of it. My favorite one is the one with Jevel and Sham from Deltarune.
Yeah. Thing about Drake and Josh were so influential, so timeless, unfortunately. And that's not the only sitcom that still rings true to this day. The seldom talked about, we're going to talk about Mr. Flanders. Oh wait, it's not Flanders. We're going to talk about the seldom talked about Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
It is underrated, criminally underrated, one of the best things to have come out of my generation, honestly.
Honestly, it's just sad that everyone forgot about it. Because
they forgot about it because they grew up.
Now, yeah, I don't know that much about the show except that Darren Norris was in it. That's the only thing.
I'll tell you some stuff. It's about a kid named Ned who wrote a journal about surviving middle school, which became the guide, as in the school survival guide. Every episode is chock full of not only relatable boyhood fantasies and weird things we thought we knew but didn't know back then, but it also contains actual useful tips about things like organization and studying and elective classes and things like that. Everything you need to know to survive middle school.
Yeah, it's just I remember seeing it briefly, but then it just vanished.
It does have a very happy ending, which I won't spoil, but let's just say it has 3 seasons for a reason. It goes through all 3 years of middle school.
Damn! It actually structured like that?
Yeah, a whole season, and a season ends when the school year ends, or a semester. It's either semester or year, because the first 2 seasons talk about they're in the same year but different, and they talk about different semesters. But the 3rd season actually brought them into the 8th grade.
Oh my god, that's actually really poetic. Poetry, rhymes.
Yeah, with the honestly, the only exception I can give to the realism is the Halloween episode, because obviously you have to have one Halloween episode that strays from the boundaries of reality. That's the law of every show.
Really? Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, like Simpsons had to have the
Yeah. So next, Ned. You were such a good show. Now we have to talk about something that I sort of don't know about, but since Ned was about survival, it's so more like Survival 101. Oh wait, not survival. It's
Yeah.
Zoe 101.
Yeah. Before we move on, though, I need to talk about the sad fate that Ned's Declassified had. It was set to do a spin-off, which would take place around high school, but unfortunately, due to some of the main characters having contractual obligations on other shows and also lack of funding, it was kind of pulled.
Oh god, like that's like the worst thing. I'm getting a canceled spin-off while some shows actually got a spin-off that didn't deserve them. We're going to talk about that when we get to it. Now we're going to have to talk about Zoe 101. From what I know about Zoe 101, it's another Dan Schneider show, but for some reason I know something different about it. There's no laugh track.
What's up?
There's no laugh track.
That's because it does. While it is a sitcom, it's not a traditional sitcom set up to give you the funny ha-has for the sake of giving you funny ha-has. It will give you funny ha-has, but it's all laced within a very serious and deep narrative about people not only living in high school, but also living going to high school, but also living away from home, away from their parents. Because the school is a boarding school, and they actually used a real college campus to shoot most of the scenes.
Yeah, and honestly, I can see that. The thing about that's what makes Zoe 101 kind of stand out from the Schneiderverse, because it's just doesn't. That's like the biggest thing. No laugh track means you finally have peace on Earth. Hallelujah.
It has the plot points and structure that really hits home with a lot of people, so much so that people will come out for anniversary specials. Like there was like a 10-year anniversary little short that happened, and then you have like the Zoom meetups at 20 years. There's talk of there being a revival in the works, but who knows?
Yeah, the thing about Zoe. Yeah, but Zoe was sort of the experimental piece of Dan Schneider's showcase. Now we have to talk about a certain band that was streaking across my lawn the other day. The Naked Brothers Band.
But first I should mention a bit how Zoe 101 ended. Like, not like ended in universe, but like how the show stopped being made. There was going to be one more season with more things happening. But thing is, rumors have been circulating that Jamie Lynn Spears was pregnant at the time somehow, which kind of corroborates with how PCA Confidential was shot. You never saw her belly, so that could be it.
Honestly, that seems plausible. Like, I could definitely see that happening to a young person during a show. But now we gotta talk about the Naked Brothers Band. The only reason it's on the list is because
the most popular band of all time.
Yeah, like the Naked. Yeah, I don't really know much about that show. All I know is that it was a thing that existed, and I remember something happened once about a legal issue.
Oh yeah, I can explain that. But first, let me go over the premise of the show. This show, like the movie that came before it, is shot in a mockumentary style about how the band came to be and all sorts of cool things the band had to deal with and stuff. And it's a band of kids. Like, people usually don't expect a band of kids to be awesome, but it was. The legal issues. See, the thing about the show is because it was shot with kids, the kids have like a union automatically because they're underage. One of the union terms was that the filming of the show could not conflict with the kids being like, going to school and stuff. But that was one of the things that Nickelodeon couldn't keep up with. So that's why it died.
Yeah, because the kids couldn't go to school. It's just another one of those situations where stay in school. Now,
I mean, I will admit, school is not the most perfect thing in the world, but it is important. So, just take that as you will.
Now, the next thing on my list is pretty much the biggest thing, and unfortunately, it's the first thing most people these days will think of when they think of late 2000 sitcoms. I'm gonna sing this. I know you feel like there was something wonderful. Just leave it all to me.
Yeah, that's not even right.
I'm trying to remember the lyrics.
I see what you're getting
at. Like this, iCarly. If you want.
Yes.
Okay, dude.
I should probably. I go ahead and talk about the show. I want to bring up the creepypasta afterwards.
Yeah, I want to let Sim talk about because he wanted to say something about iCarly. Okay, I gotta ping him.
Yeah, my chat logs are fucked, so you two go ahead for now.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the creepypasta after you both do your piece.
Yeah, I just wanted to. Is it creepypasta?
Well, a fan theory / creepypasta. I'll explain it later.
Okay, since DSim doesn't want to talk, I'll just get rid of this message. Okay, so iCarly. It's about a girl named Carly, Miranda Cosgrove, and her friend Sam, Jeanette McCurdy.
Who played Meg on Breaking Bad?
Yeah, and also her brother Spencer, Jerry Trainer, who originally was Crazy Steve. Now, then you have Nathan Kress, Freddie Benson. I remember that being
my favorite character. He is a vibe.
Yes, and then you have many other characters in that show that just click. I remember there was all these one-off characters. I remember there was Mandy, the #1 fan with a duck mask. I also remember Lubert. I also remember Tebow, who had things on a stick. I also remember Freddy's mom.
Oh boy.
Freddy's mom. The ultimate Karen. What temperatures get too
No. She is. The ultimate Karen is not Karen. It's Stacy.
Yeah, let me say it. When temperatures get too high, the elderly will start to die. Wow, that's a creepy rhyme.
And what makes mommy upset?
Yeah, and then there's Neville, the little chump.
You will rue this day.
Rue this day. You should have. God, fix some tapenade. Oh damn it! I remember that. I also remember. Gimme! I get to dance with my shirt off.
Gimme!
Yeah, Pokemon. And then the final character I can remember is Nora. Nora Dershowitz.
Oh, that bitch.
Oh. I didn't get chicken Sprite for Maurice. It's pork! Ugh, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would love to have her in my life. I would not love to have her in my life. I immediately take that back.
God, and now here's the thing about iCarly. It started out really strong, like almost immediately, right out the front door. Like it
had that really strong premise of like YouTube stardom in like a totally unknown and unseen way at the time.
Now, the thing about iCarly is it ran a little too long. Let's put it that way.
Like when you get older and you notice a lot of the stuff on iCarly is kind of samey, kind of like watered down bullshit you find on YouTube, that's when you start to realize I could just go on YouTube.
And not to mention that someone we're going to talk about later on came on a certain episode of iCarly.
But anyways, the creepypasta fan theory I was talking about. Spencer.
I need to talk about how it ended. It ended pretty good. Like we actually met Carly's father, and then Carly got to go to Italy with, and then and Sam gets the motorcycle, and Freddie and Gibby do whatever they do, and then we also have
Sam drives off on the motorcycle.
Yeah, but there's one character. There's one character I wish we met in person. Socko. He made all the socks for Squinty.
Yeah, he keeps talking about Socko, but we never see Socko.
Yeah, honestly, I wanted to see Socko so bad. I'm like, who is Socko? Also, we need to talk about the SETI arc. Even though we should, it's disgusting.
Oh yeah, Sam and Freddy. I totally shipped. I honestly, I'll be honest with you. I honestly shipped Freddy, but whatever.
Here's the thing about the SETI arc is that it's disgusting in the fact that how incompetent it is with how it's doing things, like how it treats the ship and how do they belong with each other. Like I remember Pie Guy Rules reviewing it like crazy, but then for some reason he just stopped reviewing it because he couldn't take it anymore. So basically what happened is that like the only thing they technically could have in common in that universe is that both of their moms are ass. Oh yeah, we have to talk about that one episode where J.D. Lynch came in as Sam's mom.
Oh yeah, that bitch from the Everywhere.
Yeah, the bitch from Glee. Yeah, so we really need to.
Freaking word now.
Yeah, like so basically, that show really got it, and that show got its grimy claws on everything. Even Michelle Obama, Mrs. Obama, get down.
No, I can finally build that robot. Oh, I wasn't supposed to mention a robot?
Oh, God. So, basically, iCarly had gigantic ups, had supremely gigantic ups, and really deep lows. And once we get there, we're going to talk about one of the relations to its lowest. Basically, Sam riding that motorcycle to somewhere, but we're not going to talk about that yet. But now that you can go on with your creepy pasta theory now.
Before I get to that, I'd like to briefly mention the Webicon episode. It perfectly captures nerd culture, albeit cleaned up a little bit.
Yes. I remember that. I started a fan war where Spencer faced off against Jack Black.
That to be pwned by Spider-Man.
Yeah. Farewell to a Sparta, man.
I love his tenacious attitude that he brings to the show. But anyway, on to the fan theory. Go ahead.
Yeah, then again, he was Tenacious D, and still is Tenacious D. Fuck you, you fucking dick!
Yeah. He is Tenacious D, and if I may add, he has a very Tenacious D. Anyway. So the fan theory, the creepypasta, because the same people that played Megan and Steve played Carly and Spencer, respectively. It's been speculated in a creepypasta community that that Crazy Steve went berserk, kidnapped Megan, and ran away to Seattle with her and brainwashed her into living out this false narrative.
Damn.
The fans are on some creepy shit.
Yeah, honestly. So, iCarly, it ran for like 2007 to 2012. It's like 5 years. But don't worry, we're going to talk about a show that actually ran longer very soon. Let's talk. Yeah, next on our list. Let me check it out. Hold on. After iCarly, we got to talk about True Jackson VP. Oh,
Okay, I wasn't around for much of this, but basically, if I remember the premise, it was about a teenager who became vice president of a fashion modeling company?
Yes, I remember that. Like, True Jackson was just, to put it mildly, there. It wasn't hurting anything. It literally just existed to be the thing that came after iCarly. It didn't hurt anyone. It didn't bother me or anything. Like, it just existed to be another sitcom.
I only remember one episode of it because it had a spinning wheel, and I like spinning wheels. It was the one where all the people in the company got randomly assigned to new jobs within the company to kind of get a sense of how everything goes as a team.
Now I gotta talk about because of True Jackson, it just wasn't really. It didn't really. Nick, honestly, True Jackson kind of thinking back on it, it kind of reminds me of a Disney sitcom. I do
it feels
remember
like
the
something
one
that would fit on Nick at Night.
Yeah, honestly, the one I remember was the one where they went to Paris. I remember they spammed the hell out of that commercial. I could not get away from it. I also remember with True. I also remember with True Jackson is that it just does. It just honestly, I just kind of wanted it to be over. Now, True Jackson, it was quite a trooper of a show. Okay, quickly, we're going to talk about The Troop, which was a different type of sitcom. Basically, it was more of an action sitcom. It's technically not a sitcom, it was more of an action show among the live action stuff, but I have to talk about it because we'll never talk about it again. Basically, it was one of those supernatural shows. Basically, it was a high school of 3 people who had to hunt down monsters in the high school. All I know is it had a hot chick in them. And that's pretty much it about The Troop. Now, we're going to talk about another sitcom that was sort of it's like if the Naked Brothers Band and iCarly had I gotta sing the song. At least sing the jingle. Oh, 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 oh,
Big Time Rush! The best boy band of all time. Fuck you, K-pop!
Yes. Big Time Rush. I remember loving this show because here's the thing. Big Time Rush was different from other sitcoms because it didn't have a laugh track. It had sound effects, which kind of made it stand out.
It was written like a cartoon, and that provided its biggest ups and downs altogether.
Yes. That's the thing. It was written like a cartoon. Like on one hand, you have super fast movement, and also it also had a beautiful settings, and also you had the little sister who was always smarter than everyone. You had I remember Gustavo Rock. the big
Oh, I
fat.
thought it was Gazpacho Spock. Sorry.
Yeah, the Gustavo Rock, the big fat guy with the beard, who always got angry at everything. God.
I need a quote. I need to say. I need to find a thing to say. Like, my dogs.
Yeah. I also, and then there was Kelly, his assistant. She was funny.
I like Kelly.
Yeah. I just remember that. I remember that one machine with the episode was like Morpho, Morpho. Why did you do the phone machine? Kelly.
Oh, the comedy.
Kelly is down. 1 more that week.
You heard me, Cupcake.
Yeah, that
What'd
phone
you
machine.
say? You heard me, Cupcake.
It's on. God, that. Oh, I missed that show so much. It hurts. Oh, now that
It's
was
interesting to point out. Like, remember when we said it was written like a cartoon? Funny thing about that, it actually was a cartoon for a bit.
I do remember there was one episode where they just animated the damn thing instead of having it like.
Well, they didn't animate everything. What happened? To kind of go through the synopsis of the episode, Big Time Rush had the choice between going for the cartoon or going for the video game. They initially wanted to go. I'm gonna go with your mom. They initially wanted to go for the cartoon because, like, they didn't want to dress up in ball suits and wait 24/7. So then they listened to Butch Hartman's pitch and they hated it. So they went for the game. But then when they got locked out in the ball suits and were confused for aliens, they decided to go for the cartoon. And they did improve. And Butch Hartman did improve his pitch, and we saw that cartoon at the end. It was interesting, honestly. I'd love to see it for like one season.
Now, here's the thing about Big Time Rush is it got 4 seasons, and also the fact that what's the word? The thing about the Big Time Rush is that it had a lot of good characters, like I said, Callie, Gustavo, Kendall, Logan, James, Carlos. I remember all of them so fondly. I also remember all the background characters. Like I remember Camille, the woman who always slapped Logan and kissed. And then there was Kendall's lover, Joe. Ugh, Joe.
Right.
Then the thing is, that's where I see there was the downfalls of the downsides of the show. Because it was written like a cartoon, some of the cartoon the love scenes and stuff, they felt a little rushed and off and awkward.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll admit, in the later seasons, it kind of felt less like the show and the album were connected and more like the show was written around the album. Because, like when the song Confetti was written, you have no idea how many episodes after that had Confetti and featured that song. And also, you would think this was made with the intent to promote the music, but actually the music tends to be a bit more deep than the show would have you believe, like with guest vocalists and different words and stuff. Like one of their more recent songs, "Music Sounds Better with You," actually had the word "hell" in it, which they had to remove for the Nickelodeon episodes.
Yeah, another thing is that thing about Big Time Rush is it actually did spawn a bunch of people. Like I remember one of them had someone named Symphonique Miller, who was apparently who is going to be in a show we're going to talk about after a few more topics. But first, we have to talk about what you feel when you actually feel like you won something. What do you feel? Victorious.
You feel great.
No, you feel victorious. We gotta talk about Victorious.
The reason it started was because of the star, Victoria Justice, who before this appeared on Zoe 101, starting from season 2.
Now, the thing about Victoria Justice is, it's a big mock mock-up of how like an actor's school would go. Like first watching, I used to love all this show, and also there was just so many. There was characters that were similar to other characters. Remember Jade being similar to Sam, like that she like, used to beat people up, and also you can never forget Robbie Shapiro and Rex the
With the
puppet.
puppet?
Yeah,
He
you can.
doesn't like being called a puppet.
Yeah, I know. And then you had Tori's sister Trina, who despite her being annoying all the time, I had a thing for.
Yeah, funny thing about Trina, she actually in the show the character Trina totally sucks at everything, but she got into the school because the teacher got high.
Yeah, and also because like the originals, she got into the school first, but then the second time there was an episode where they had to redo all of their stuff, and Tori was about to get shut up. But the thing is, the new teacher, someone named Helen, actually, who was just the Helen from Drake and Josh, who became the principal.
I love that trick.
Yeah, well, basically what happened is with that. So Tori had to save her sister's reputation by allowing her sister to stay. I also just remember she was such a brat, and I also remember Beck and Jade's relationship going up and down. What is that thing, that dog that Beck always wants? A Rottenheimer! Don't you mean Rottweiler? Then there was Andre. He was in one iCarly episode. I remember that. And then there was who else was there? Oh yes, Cat. Fucking Cat.
I love Cat.
Yeah, Cat. You don't have to be bird. Yeah, and then there was. Also remember their crazy teacher, Psychowitz.
Oh yes, he actually had like he reminds me of like SNL. Like a lot of the stuff, improv stuff that he would make the kids do reminds me of some shit from SNL.
Saturday Night Live. Yeah, that's the.
No, not SNL. I fucked up. Not SNL. Whose line? Whose line? That's what I meant.
Here's the thing. If iCarly had seasonal rot in like the later 5 seasons, I think Victorious I think had 3 seasons. It hit seasonal.
I feel like the only time I've ever seen any sort of rot in Victorious is when there was this one chick determined to make Tori look crazy so she could take her spot, and one of the things she did was she replaced the "Make It Shine" door on her locker with one that said "Make It Rot."
No. There are many bad episodes. Like seriously, towards the latter half of season 2, everything for me just kind of fell flat because, like, honestly, this show, looking back on it, it's aged horribly. Like, it's unlike iCarly, which has a lot of more redeeming factors. Victorious is sort of aged like Shark Tale in terms of quality.
My favorite episode is the one where they all had to sleep over at Psychowitz's house and they had to pretend to be characters.
Yeah, that was what? I also remember I just remember a lot of these funny moments. I remember when Jay was giving Tori coffee, like, "Here's go, Tori, drink this. Drink it. What kind of coffee is it? I don't know. Hazelnut? Why? I don't know. I found it in the garbage." God. Jade was like
I love the one where they do the characters though, because it's like I can still remember some of the shit they said as the characters, like don't forget to thank yourself, because if you just believe in your dreams, you can make the world come true. Or this chick's like, "I'm a police officer. Can I have you some Raisin Bran?"
Yeah, I also remember that when Jade was about to crack, she went outside and she's like, "Move this car! You broke character and your neighbor's car window."
And your neighbor's car window. Everybody get back inside.
That's one of the few victorious moments I could remember vividly. Now, and here's the
Yeah.
thing. Like I said, I also remember the episode. I remember the episode where Rex died. We went through that shredder.
He died and then he didn't die because Tori's a fucking soft ass.
Yeah, Tori was a soft ass. Like, she was so soft. And that would lead her to her greatest strengths and her greatest awfulness. Like, that's the bottom line.
So soft on conventional politics.
Yeah, like, and that's... Yeah, like I said, the show ended on bad terms. Like, it didn't really... Like, it felt like a sour ending. Like, because they just
What
didn't know
kind
how
of
to
ending?
end. I remember that Tori had to change who she was to go on stage, and then she just changed back. It just felt like open-ended.
Was that
Like
Freak to Freak Out or was that something else?
that was something else. Freak the Freak Out was something all else entirely. Also, you have to remember the horrendous episode that was the Breakfast Bunch.
That stupid Breakfast Club spoof. Like what's weird is like even though I never saw Breakfast Club at that point, I knew what scenes they were trying to mimic just by the way they presented them. Like the teacher, like, you mess with the cow, you get the udders. He slowly shuts the door and Tori screams, "Forget you!"
Honestly, like, that show, that just felt slow. I'm like, really, it was like one of those.
The only good thing that episode did, it actually made me rent Breakfast Club, the DVD on Netflix, and that was more enjoyable.
Exactly. Honestly, it's just like, you don't. Hell, Teen Titans Go did a better spoof of Breakfast Club. God, I can't believe I never.
Wait, they did?
Yes, it was one episode, but I'm not going to talk about it because that is a better ending spoof. I'm not going to talk about it because it's toxic. It's just like that show. Like I said.
So anyway,
But since we're
let's move on.
let's take a detour onto YouTube. Hey, it's Fred!
Why? Oh fuck!
We need to talk about the internet celebrity Fred because he was so big that he got an episode. Yeah, and also he got his own movie, which is just screening for an hour.
We got a movie, and then another movie, and then another movie, and then the thing we're going to talk about now, which is the show.
Now, here's the thing, Fred the Show, which was just another show. With the echo. Okay, so.
Sorry, I must have been shaking a bunch.
Okay, the Fred the Show is what you call. I don't know.
Sensitivity.
Garbage. The thing about Fred the Show is that it proves that Lucas Cruikshank should have just stayed where he was on the fucking internet. Because given
what he had to work with, Lucas was good. I think if anything, it just proves you can't make a big time star out of some random little crap hole you find on the internet.
The thing about Fred is that, like, he's gimmicky because, like, all you do is you have to, like, there's a simple way. You want to know how you can make yourself Fred? Just go to your editing software, up the tempo of your voice, and boom, you're the next Fred.
Well, you want me to grab my voice mod? I'll fucking do it.
Do it! Do it. Do it for us.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute to set it up.
Oh, audience, you're in for a treat.
Here it is.
We get to see a Fred. M-Page Fred.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Come on. Okay, so while he's talking, while he's shutting up his thing, I might as well talk about the rest of Fred. Fred ran for 2 seasons. Could you believe it ran for 2 seasons? And also, it was the beginning of something I hated about Nickelodeon. Getting rid of the end credits of shows and just having them be transparent on the bottom screen. Fred the show was the start of that phrase on Nickelodeon. We no longer got to see the end credits of shows. Thank you, Fred. Like, it was bland, boring, and honestly, the only reason you would like Fred the show is if you liked Fred from the online. And yes, exactly. And on YouTube, Fred was able to get away with a lot more. He didn't have to go by TV regulations. He could actually say swears if he wanted to. Yeah, so seriously, don't be the Fred. Yeah, like, you give Fred a budget, you're gonna fucking... you give Fred a budget, and then boom, you got a star that you don't know what to do with. And unfortunately, it's just that simple. Like, Fred, in a sense, is just... like, you're gonna see why Fred or Lucas, how he just goes off. You'll find out the true nature of Lucas once we talk about another show. Yeah, that's the thing. The recasting of Bertha. Like, Bertha. Like, seriously, you can't just have... yeah, like, seriously, why would you make her... is it because you couldn't get Jeanette McCurdy to do Bertha? Like, is that really... well, here's the thing. If you didn't want to... the only reason you hired Jeanette McCurdy as Bertha is because you wanted the movie to be good. If you wanted to be consistent, you'd just get Danielle Monet to do it. Oh, wait. Danielle Monet is not classy enough. Like... and also, the whole movie is about Fred getting to Judy's house. And now, why don't you have fucking Judy in the show? Friends with... yeah, but then I'm guessing that Jeanette didn't want to do it again, because that just feels like... or did they swap her with Danielle Monet? That's something confusing. I also remember... yeah, I also remember Durf from the movie. Durf. Right on. And who could forget John Cena in the movies? Like, why would John Cena be his dad? And obviously John Cena couldn't be in the show. And then we have to talk about Fred's slut of a mother. Ugh. God, that was like awful. Like, why would they let that be on Nickelodeon? Ow. Oh boy. I think he heard me. You're only gonna need to do it for like a few seconds, GH. Then you can go back to normal. Okay. I'm afraid I'm gonna get a visit from someone. Also, we need to talk about the bully, Kevin. Kevin. God, Kevin. It was like the ultimate douchebag. What? Why would I have to? Why would they? Or what? What? Oh, I'm not going there. You cannot make me go there, GH. You cannot make me go there. You cannot. Oh no. No, 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 no. Now, quickly, we're gonna. Are you there yet? Okay. Loading. Yeah. Like, really? It's just one of those situations where, like, boom, Fred. Just, yeah, Kevin was like the ultimate douchebag character. I'm sorry, GH. You don't have to use it. We're just gonna have to move on. Sorry if it was a waste of time. I can't dwell on Fred forever. I'm gonna get actors.
It's still going, but like, it'll take it's almost done. It's almost done. Blah blah blah. We have updated terms and conditions. I don't care.
Honestly, yeah. Let's just forget about that. Oh, that's an intense echo. Okay, well, okay, so okay. Next up, we're gonna have to talk about another show. Ow! What's going? Oh God. Okay, so next up.
Hold on, let me check my input setting real quick. I think I fucked it somewhere.
Okay, well, yeah, I got a list. Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about one of the more obscure shows. Pretty much a show that only I know about. Something called Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures. From what I know,
I don't care.
honestly, from what I remember about Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures, it was just another two dudes who are like surfer dudes, just hang out and do stupid shit, like on a beachfront property. Now, so that was pretty much the whole show, and it only lasted two seasons, and it really was only like in the back burner of Nickelodeon. Like it just sat there, and it was just on when it was on. They didn't advertise it except for the first few episodes, so it just sat there, sort of like Johnny Test, until it just eventually just got canceled. I'm guessing it's just one of those deals where Nickelodeon just signed a contract with these numbnuts, and they said we'll do 2 seasons, and then they realized the show sucks, and then we're like, oh God, we're stuck with this thing for 2 seasons. You know how that feels? Like it's like that parasite that just sits there, and yeah. So let's talk about a show. Ow. Okay, let's talk about a show that should have been on. Yeah, let's talk about a show that should have been on a little bit longer than it should. Super Ninjas. All I know is that that episode was just like a ninja show. God, and boy was it a ninja show. It was about 2 guys and a girl being ninjas for this hologram guy and just doing ninja shit. And also and at a high school, and it felt fun. I also remember from like the second episode, the WWE star Big Show was in it. So Tonio would like that fun fact, but Tonio's not here right now. Ironic.
WWE people just keep finding a way to nick product, like with John Cena in front of the movies.
Yeah, and Dwayne Johnson and all that. Oh. Yeah, like, so.
Wait, man.
Now, remember how I talked about that one time where Big Time Rush had a guest star named Symphony Miller? That year she actually got her own show, How to Rock. You ever heard of the Gravity 5? Of course you haven't heard of it. Have you heard of the Perfs? Of course you haven't heard. I've heard of it. I'm the only one who ever watched that shit. And it was also at the back end. It was also at the back.
How to rock now. It's been a while.
It wasn't a bad show. Like, it literally only lasted from February to like October of that year of 2012. So it only lasted a few months. Like, that's how bad of a show it was. Because it was literally just Big Time Rush, but worse. Like, there's another show that actually fits that category down the line. Larry, like, really, this show, in layman's terms, is just and this show, and the show in this terms is just, I'm gonna have to say it, a loser berry. Why did I say that? Okay, so How to Rock, a bad show. Now let's talk about another bad show. Marvin, aka Lucas, the thing that killed Lucas Cruikshank's viability everywhere.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we're talking about Marvin, aka the time where Lucas was an alien.
Non-Fred things.
Yeah, like such scary CGI. And also, yeah, you're echoing like crazy.
Oh wait, that's later.
God, you're echoing like
I don't know what's
crazy.
going on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. But the thing is, you're echoing and cutting out like crazy.
Hold on a sec. I'm trying to find my license key because the stupid voice mod updated and forgot I bought it, so now I gotta fucking put the key in.
Oh boy. I'm sorry.
Fuck, it's doing that thing again where I have to relink the damn fucking thing.
Okay, let's talk about. Okay, so like I was saying, Marvin. It was a very flat show. Like, here's the thing. What that show taught me was that Lucas Cruikshank is nothing without his precious high-pitched voice.
Yeah, that high-pitched voice was a real key, wasn't it?
Yeah, other than that, like, Lucas is kind of a bad actor. Like, also, Lucas being an alien just doesn't make sense. That, like, he just feels off. Like, also, the family they chose was sort of bad. The thing is
Really
about.
generic and weird.
Yeah, generic and weird. You got the sitcom dad, the idiot dad. You got the mother that's overprotected. You got the girl who's obviously has to keep in charge of him. You got the little kid. You got the grandfather. Like, seriously, you got all of the sitcom stereotypes right there with Lucas. Now, let's talk about something, and also the time where they crossed over with Big Time Rush. You remember that happened? Like, Big Time Marvin. You don't forget. You don't forget shit like that.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you don't forget.
Yeah, and you want to forget it, but you don't. Now here comes the thing that accompanies
It's like
Okay, continue. Ew. Is that the high-pitched voice?
that was the chipmunk preset. Let me try a different one actually.
Yeah, we're not.
Block. Which is a.
Yeah, we're far.
Like that's what happens when you don't let me use the fucking voice mods in so long. I have to wait for the fucking updates. I gotta renew licenses. Like fucking, I hate when people put me on the spot. Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't know it would take that long, GH. I didn't know. I thought you had it on you.
Neither did I. You think I know this shit?
Oh god, now I feel like shit. Okay, so
We're all shit.
okay, let's talk about the atrocity. So here come. I'm gonna first before we talk about this show, I have to talk about the big hour and a half long event that was the iCarly and Victorious crossover with some
iParty was victorious.
yeah with basically Keenan Thompson and
The panda.
yeah, I don't know what that panda is, but
Like one thing I don't like about it is like there was a special event that made the thing longer and added extra scenes. I love that version, but we're never gonna see it again because Nickelodeon only ever re-airs the standard hour version.
yeah, like seriously, I remember the longer version because we only have the budget for an hour-long airtime. That's what happened with Truth or Square. Seriously, because they had to punch in a bunch of commercials.
Like, I mean, I remember one of the scenes. It was like freaking, what was it? Basically, someone got really mad with Kat while she was talking with her app. They basically grabbed her phone and typed a crap ton of gibberish.
And those, yeah, the thing about that, but I'm guessing they might have the full version on Paramount Plus. I don't know.
I doubt it.
I don't know. Like, who knows? Maybe they even have the full version of Truth or Square on there. So, with that, and you know that they have crossed over before. And also, by the end of iCarly, you know Sam was riding a motorcycle out of the city. Out of the city!
Yeah.
Now, think.
Yeah, that was Sam. And one of my favorite characters of Victorious was Kat. Like, you remember Sam? You remember Kat? Wouldn't it be cool if they had like their own like show or something?
Oh! No! That's what I
Well,
originally
too
thought.
bad they did it anyway.
Yeah, that's. Now, this is basically, in most people's eyes, except for probably mine, Dan Schneider's worst creation. I know something that's worse. It's just that Sam and Cat was garbage. Like it felt so shallow. Like it didn't. Like Sam and Cat, like they bounce off of each other okay, but what I remember Carly bouncing off of Sam a lot better, and I don't know, like maybe Tori bouncing off of Cat.
It was shallow garbage, but it was popular shallow garbage. Like, hold on, it's loading.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't been watching the show, you must live in a cave.
Oh, really? I had no idea. Oh, God. Like seriously, it's just like I remember there was the characters they varied. Like I remember Dice. He was just a guy with an afro. He's just a kid with an afro.
I like Dice, but I like the dumb wrestler dude.
Goomer. Oh, Goomer.
Yes.
Honestly, when I saw Gomer, it was just like he's just a mentally challenged man. He's not funny. He's actually kind of sad.
I mean, like this stuff he says can be funny at times, and I like how they set him up to be the big bad wrestler dude.
Yeah, I also I remember that type of stuff. Like, and I remember how his name was actually 2 words. Goomer. God, actually, yeah, there were a few things I liked. But then there was those episodes where basically there was originally going to be 40 episodes, but there was only, in actuality, there was only 37 because
Hmm.
it got pulled before the 40 episodes could even finish. If you want to see,
Yeah,
like,
I think it was because of what was going on.
yeah, because of Jeanette McCurdy's questionable actions and Ariana Grande actually being, I don't know, famous by that point.
Yeah.
Like that's just the tip of the iceberg of all the problems. If you really want to find detailed video episodes of like details on almost every episode of Sam and Cat, go watch Kai Guy Rules. He actually has extensive videos on Sam and Cat's episodes. So, because it ended in one of the most insulting ways I've ever seen. Basically,
Oh yeah, Cat ends up in jail, and Sam does nothing about it.
yes. I can't believe that just makes Sam like the darkest person in the world. Now Sam could get pretty grudgy, but like that just makes me hate her indefinitely. This is what I call character damaging. SpongeBob went through
Yeah.
it. Yeah, like honest, like and that no wonder she's not coming back for the revival. No one would want her.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple others that ain't coming back either. We already know who's confirmed. We got Carly, we got Spencer, we got Freddie, and we got Gibby.
Yes, Gibby gets to come back. Now, we're gonna talk about the live action remake of iCarly soon. But I have to talk about, in my opinion, one of the most underrated of the quote unquote modern sitcoms of Nickelodeon. Don't know how we ended up this way. I guess you could call us the Haunted Hathaways. Oh boy.
Oh,
Now,
really?
here's the thing about that show is that at first it didn't strike me as something special, but for some reason because it came out around the same time as Sam and Cat, and I enjoy watching the Haunted Hathaways a lot more than Sam and Cat because for some reason there was some particular charm about it, about ghosts. It made me
Yeah.
think of another show that happened in the past by another person who should not be named. The point of the matter is that it was a unique sitcom to me and actually felt funny. There were genuine moments I felt that were nice. It's hard to remember all of them. It's just that, like, it just shows how much special effects can do with a ghost. Like,
Oops.
oh. Yeah, the issue I had with the whole thing is that the ending was rushed because Nickelodeon wanted to get that thing out the door and get it the fuck out of there because and I say that's a damn shame. It should have got a 3rd season. Like that's my thing. Like it didn't it had a whole arc about one of the friends actually finding out about the ghosts. It actually and also there was the crossover with the Thundermans they had, so we're gonna have to talk about them. The first quote unquote superhero show. what you see is not what you get. Living your life in a secret. Fit right. Oh, I'm not gonna sing the whole song. Living a double life. Okay, now talk about the Thundermans. The Thundermans is it's another
It died incredible, but no sex appeal.
yeah, it feels like it's like if Nickelodeon it's like with Nickelodeon took The Incredibles and then took I don't know should I select iCarly or Big Time Rush? Which one would fit that show better? iCarly?
I don't know if I don't remember much of Thundermans except for how it kind of feels like Henry Danger.
We're not talking about that numbnut yet. Now, thing about yes, oh boy, hell's gonna break through. Thing about the Thundermans, it lasts for 4 and it actually lasted a lot longer than most people anticipated. Also, did have that crossover with him. The thing about the Thundermans is that the progression actually felt a lot more natural in terms of like what happened in the show. But the thing is, sometimes the special effects, sometimes they were impressive, and sometimes they were cheesy. Like another thing is that they also had that rabbit, Dr. Colosso. Oh, that rabbit
Oh
puppet.
boy, no.
Oh, and then you had the two twins, and then in season 3 we got another kid character that was younger, Chloe, which is surprising because Chloe was in the Fairly Odd Parents, and they had a Chloe in the Thundermans. Yeah, and the father's name was Hank. Bobby, how many times? How many times have I told you about that? Yeah, and Phoebe and Max, they were the typical sibling rivalry, except that Max wanted to be a villain while Phoebe was trying to strive to be a hero. And then there was just so many adventures that just felt like the problem with the Thundermans is that like there were some episodes that sort of dragged. This is the problem with having a quote unquote superhero sitcom. They can drag. But the thing is, it actually felt most of the time it actually felt like a real superhero show because most of the time it didn't drag. However, the next show we're gonna talk about, it dragged like a fucking tail that was pinned to the fucking. Okay, stop with the soundboard. No more. Oh.
I'm trying to find it.
Ah.
Why did I put it on? What is the blue button?
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about what I think is the worst show, so worse that's actually on the fucking thumbnail. Henry Danger. Oh boy,
Like Henry Dickface.
yeah, this is the reason why I whined back in episode 4 about wanting to do a sitcom episode. Because I wanted to talk about this numbnut. If you recall, he had a cartoon, a short-lived cartoon. I wanted to talk about the main beef. Because Henry Danger is, my opinion, not Butch, Dan Schneider's worst show. I don't care. Sam and Cat can Sam and Cat can fuck this show in the ass. I'd rather watch Sam and Cat on loop than watch Henry Danger. The thing about Henry Danger is that it's supposed to be this big superhero show. I remember when I first watched it, I was stunned. I remember it started out as an hour-long movie thing, special. I thought it was like, oh cool, it's just gonna be a one-off movie. No. Little did I know that that movie, so to speak, was the pilot for a show. Because literally, this thing came out.
Yeah.
This thing came out exactly when Sam and Cat ended. Literally, like a month after. That's how soon it was. I also remember, yeah. And then you got Henry. You got Captain Man, aka Spencer. Ugh, Oh God, I hated Captain Man so much. He was such a fucking jerk. Like he's like what Quagmire called back. He's like, God, you're pretentious. And then you have Charlotte, who's just Charlotte. And then you have Swaz. Oh, Swaz. And who's basically just this weird guy. Who sounds like he's a hunchback. And then there was what's the word? Then there was Jasper. Oh, who I like to prefer to is what Pie God Rules refer to him. He's just a mixture of Josh and Gibby, or Joshy. Jasper was like an idiot to end all idiots. He was just there to be an idiot. But here's the thing. Now, Henry Danger was so influential that it had 2 crossovers. One with the Thundermans and one with Game Shakers. I'm gonna talk about the form.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna talk about the latter later on. But the thing about Henry Danger is simple. Like, it's a show that should have died sooner than it should have. Sooner than it did. It lasted longer. Here's the thing. It lasted longer than iCarly.
I mean, it's one thing to make a cartoon out of it, but part of me just wants to meet the little that thought it was a good idea to make the cartoon like note for note exactly the same as the show. It makes me want to just take my ram it straight down until sideways.
Awesome reference. Now, the thing about Henry Danger is that like it went on for way too long. Honestly, by the 3rd season, I gave up on the show ever getting better. I honestly stopped watching after Henry got his new superpower. I'm like, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm not supporting the show any further. But for some reason, they had like 5, almost 6 seasons because like it went on even after Dan Schneider was fired. That's how big it was. Like, they kept this thing alive despite Dan Schneider not working on it anymore. Kind of similar to how SpongeBob
there's a
was.
lot of projects that Nick has despite Butch Harmon not working on them anymore. Like, they still had Fairly Odd Parents long after Butch left. They still had SpongeBob long after Steven left.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Butch never left. Butch never left.
I remember around the time they got Chloe into the show, that's when Butch bought back his own show and took full control.
Yeah, like, I remember he still directed some episodes. He directed most of the episodes, but he didn't own it.
Like, between the pilot and Chloe, he was micromanaging. But once Chloe got on board and Butch bought back the whole show, that's when everything went downhill because Butch now had full control over everything, and he likes to shove it in your face that he wrote your childhood. But we already talked about that 15 episodes ago.
Yeah, and another thing about Butch, yeah, it's just like there's just so many things. Like, the show, that's why the cartoon ended, actually. It ended because of Dan Schneider's career. So that's a relief. But the sad thing is the sitcom went on for another 2 years without him. Although, thank God that
I think it's because they were like old. I like to think that was just old archival shit, like stuff that they produced but didn't air, and then decided, the show creator's gone. We have the license. What's he gonna do?
Yeah, now Henry Danger, God, it went on for on. Oh, we gotta talk about a few other people. We gotta talk about Piper, aka Megan, with social media. Oh God,
Piper,
was
is
like,
that the leaf shaker?
she was Henry's little sister who always yelled and screeched.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, And here's the thing: Megan was more tolerable than Piper ever could dream of being. And here's the thing: like Pie Guy Rose put it simply, back then, Drake and Josh's parents didn't know that Megan was a devil. In this show, Henry's parents know that Megan Piper was a horrible little girl. Like, they know that she's horrible, and they let her be horrible.
Like imagine if they tried to say some shit like that means she likes you. That'd be like a big yikes from me.
Don't worry. The Loud House already did that. They did that with Ronnie Ann. Ugh. Now, here's what comes piss to a boil. Like, really, it ended. Honestly, I don't care how it ended at this point. I just want to shit on it. But we have other shows we need to talk about. Once we reach a certain show, we're going to talk about Dan Schneider as a whole. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite quintuplets, or Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn. Now,
Not 4, not 5.
damn it! So Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, quadruplets, yeah. Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn is basically a sitcom with 4 main characters. You want to know what's the funniest thing? You know what's kind of interesting? The father in that show is the same actor that plays the father of the Loud House characters, which is funny. That's a theory. Like, he went from having 4 kids to having 11 kids.
Like, one thing I want to say right now, what a totally unoriginal name for a show. That'd be like if we called the YRC the Joe and Walt Hour.
Yeah, like Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn. It just sounds like it was the first few episodes. Like, I thought were kind of interesting. I remember one of the original few episodes where they thought their parents were zombies. Honestly, that one was kind of funny. Honestly,
Reminds me of an episode of The Replacements, honestly.
The thing is, because back then the kids actually, I don't know, looked like kids. That's because, and not like teenagers. That's because those kids particularly grew up fast. Like, the kid actors they hired to play the quadruplets, actually, they grew up a little too fast. So that's kind of a bad thing in acting, because you could tell that they were getting bigger, like, by the second season. Now, you know how that can be very problematic when you're doing a show on, I don't know, quintuplets, or no, just 4 kids. I'm just saying 5 kids.
We're not doing 4 kids. That's another episode.
Oh God! The thing about Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn is that it's an okay show. It's just it gets a pass from me. It's just that, like, it at the time of all this stuff going on, it didn't really bring much to the table. Like, but now we have to talk about a few obscure shows. I'm going to talk about a show that you probably never heard of, but I've seen. It's called Max and Shred. Max and Shred.
Is that a skateboarding show?
It was a show about a snowboarder and a scientist.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, like, seriously. Like, it was about a snowboarder and a scientist. And he... Yeah, like, and he was the most generic piece of human garbage in all of this. Like, you could literally... It's not... There's nothing there's nothing that can be seen from Max and Shred that you wouldn't get out of something like Big Time Rush or Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn. Like, it's just so outclassed. It falls into the overused Disney sitcom category. Like, basically,
Mhm.
it's that bland and uninteresting that you're just... And it had 2 seasons. 2 seasons. It just sat there. It's sort of similar to Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures. It was just uninteresting, and that's why it just flopped. Now, remember how I said there was a ripoff of Big Time Rush? We're going to talk about it now.
No.
This is basically if you put Big Time Rush and Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide in a blender, and then you let it sit out in the sun for a few months. It's called 100 Things to Do Before High School.
Not another bucket list spoof. I hate that shit.
Yeah, like, seriously, this show was literally if, like I just said, Big Time Rush, Ned's Declassified, had a baby. And instead of... Here's the thing about Ned's. Like, did Ned's have a laugh track or not? I don't remember.
No, it did not. It had cartoony effects, but it did not have a laugh track.
Well, here's the thing. You take... With 100 Things to Do for High School, they yanked the cartoony stuff to 11. Basically making it like almost like it should... Like, this should have been a cartoon. And the thing...
I
like,
swear, if they went even more cartoony, then the kids would have no.
Yeah, the thing about...
I say that.
The 100 Things to Do Before High School is basically screaming, we want to be a cartoon, but we're a fucking sitcom. Because they need another sitcom. Like, seriously, it just felt empty. Like, it didn't feel... And also, they got bad actors. Like, seriously, bad actors.
Yeah, right.
Like... Now, we've been seeing a lot of generic sitcoms. I don't know, like Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn, Actors Shred, 100 Things to Do by High School. How about we go with football? How about we go with Bella and the Bulldogs? Ugh.
How about no?
Too bad, we're doing it anyway. Well, Bella and the fucking...
You're doing it anyway. I don't give a fuck about American football, and a lot of our audience don't either.
Now, what Bella and the Bulldogs is the simple concept of a high school girl playing football in being a quarterback for a hit football team in the mainstream media.
They did this already in Proud Family. Why are they doing it again?
Thing about Bella and the Bulldogs is that here's the thing. It's an okay show, but at the same time it's not. Like, it's literally like the best and worst of both worlds. Some people, it's like it's so bad it's good, and then some people it's just bad. Like, it's like one of those types of shows where it's like got really differing opinions. Like, also, I forgot to put it on the list, but after this episode, we gotta talk about Wendell and Vinny, because the kid from Wendell and Vinny is in this show.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, Gwendolyn Vinny can go in the Nick at Night episode if it gets an episode.
Here's the thing about Wendell and Vinny, before we go back to Bella, is that, like, Wendell and Vinny was designed to be a more adult sitcom. Here's my gripe.
That's why I was on it.
Yeah, exactly. But here's my gripe. Jerry Trainer does not work in an adult sitcom. Like...
Yeah, it's like, when he's sad, it's just too sad.
Yeah, like, he's just too... in an adult sitcom, he's kind of overacting. Like his overacting works better for a kids sitcom, and it also worked well for voicing Dudley Puppy, which I still am mad that show did not go on longer than it did. Hi, Geeky. Now back to Bella. Bella was just average. Like, it didn't really hurt anything. It just felt like, it's okay, but what's different from the other shows? And it's just a girl trying to act like a man. Like, where have we seen that before? Ugh. I also remember. Okay, now we have to talk about the final Jan Schneider sitcom on this. Oh wait, it's not the final one, but it's the second to last one. We have to talk about Game Shakers.
Okay.
AKA the
Right
show.
now?
Yeah, we're talking about it now. I'm dragging your pony wing, and I'm taking you with me.
Hey, no. You drag me by the tail. You drag me by the wing if you want me in your bed.
Ew. Okay, so let's talk.
Hey, don't blame me. That's pony anatomy. That's how it works. Ask the fandom.
Okay, fine. Now here's the thing about Game Shakers. Garbage, but I have to go into more detail. Basically, Game Shakers is the regurgitation of iCarly. Basically, it tries so hard to be iCarly. It's literally
It kind of did.
Yeah.
It's like iCarly with gaming. It's like if iCarly wanted to tackle the YouTube culture that was developing at the time, Game Shakers develops and tackles the YouTube gaming culture at the time, or at least it tries to do it from the more corporate perspective of a game developer.
The issue with that is that you get the characters act like characters you've seen a million times before. One of the girls acts like Sam. One of the girls acts smart, like one of those girls from the smart girl from Zoe 101. One of them is the stereotypical Gibby, which apparently had an annoying laugh. And basically you get And you get Kel Mitchell to be the Spencer of the show.
Yeah. I might as well talk about the premise, which is kind of spelled out in the first episode. Basically, for their science project, they made an app game for the tablets. And while it failed the project, they did release it onto the App Store. It became wildly popular, even garnering attention from popular YouTubers at the time, like Lasercorn and even Pro Jared, who did do cameo in the show. Anyway, then Kel comes into the picture. He plays the rapper. Thing is, the game had one of his songs in it illegally, so he was going to sue them for millions of dollars. But instead, they decided to instead of do that, just talk out the differences and be investment partners. So him and his kid end up joining the team, and that's that.
Yeah, and
that's Game Shakers.
Yeah, the thing about Game Shakers is that, sure, the pilot was somewhat nice. The issue comes with the fact that and they had the kid from the Haunted Hathaways in it. That's one of the reasons I was sort of interested in it at the beginning, because I liked that kid. He was a good actor. The issue comes with the fact, that's one thing about the Haunted Hathaways, is that in that ghostly show, it actually felt like they actually got good actors that time around. Now,
as a kind of cross promotion with the show, they did release flash games on the Nickelodeon website, which are based on the games that were made in Game Shakers. Skywell, of course, being the first, and then you have these weird other titles like Tiny Pickles, Punchy Face, Octopi, Llama Llama Spit Spit. and others.
Yeah. Here's the thing about you could actually get. I don't know if Sky Whale is still on the App Store, but it might
I'll
be.
Google it.
Just the thing about the whole thing is that it's the show is just bad. It may not seem bad on the surface, but you have to come to the fact that
Okay.
all of the characters are literally just characters they've used before. Like
All right. At the time we're doing this live, Sky Whale is still available for free in the Android store. The Apple store is unconfirmed.
okay, honestly, the point of the whole the point of Game Shakers is that it's a bad show because it's just everything you've already seen in every other Dan Schneider show, and you're just better
I
off
think we're
watching.
starting to see a pattern with this. I think all Dan Snyder shows seem to follow the same pattern. You have a really unique and interesting premise for a pilot. The pilot grips people's attention and everybody loves it. And then the show devolves into being a cookie cutter iCarly again.
Yeah, this is yeah, I remember that sort of happened towards the tail end of Victorious too, and that's proven even further with Henry Danger. Literally, if you want to dumb it down, Henry Danger is literally just iCarly with superpowers, bad superpowers.
Right.
Yeah, the more I.
Yeah, not like sugar and spice and everything nice.
Yeah, more like wimp. AKA you can't there's no two ways about it. Every Dan Schneider show after iCarly is sort of having a similar formula to it. You need especially Game Shakers, because you can just see them doing iCarly plots. And in Game Shakers specifically, you begin to see every flaw with every Dan Schneider plot. Because they put laughter at awful times. You can see incompetence of certain authority figures. You begin to see a lot of dark shit with these newer shows. Serious. Now, before I eat my tongue off, I need to talk about another one-off before we talk about the final Dan Schneider incarnation. Now, this is a very interesting case. Something called Legendary Doodass. Now, let me tell you the story of this train wreck. This train wreck was going to be different from other sitcoms. It was actually going to be a cartoon. It was going to be a sitcom that functioned like a cartoon. It would be 11-minute segments. 11-minute segments. 2 11-minute segments per sitcom episode. Like a fucking cartoon.
How?
Yeah, how indeed. Want to know how long this show lasted? 1 month.
How long?
1 month before it was
1 month.
canceled.
What show was it again?
Yeah, the only reason I acknowledge it at all is because I remembered it. I remember seeing it. I remember loathing it. That's because a sitcom should not be 11 minutes long. Period.
What sitcom was this? This sounds like something out of some parallel universe.
Yeah, it was a sitcom that was 11 minutes long each. Literally. And now we have to talk.
What was the name of this weird thing?
Legendary Doodass. Look it up. Quite an interesting
The
thing.
fuck is that?
I'll text you the name, GH. Here.
I'll look it up. I got it. Fuck. Legendary hoo-ha.
Yeah, Doodas. D-O-T-A-S. It sounds...
Whatever. Oh, that's a weird spelling.
Yeah.
Ew. Yeah, trying to spell it the normal way gives me Artemis Fowl for some reason. I'd rather watch Artemis Fowl than this garbage.
Yeah. Miss Fowl. She was a good teacher. 30 questions, Brock!
That's not the same thing.
Ugh. I'm sorry. So, there's two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about this one show that I saw before deciding to do this episode. It's not technically a sitcom, but it is ripping off Muppets, so I'm going to count it as a sitcom. Something called Barbarian and the Troll, which is just basically Muppets.
Ew.
It's Nickelodeon Muppets. Nickelodeon Muppets. Seriously, like, Nickelodeon couldn't think of another cartoon idea, so they wanted to rip off Muppets. That's just the saddest. Yeah, really.
Is React to that on our...
Oh god, we gotta talk about that. I forgot to add that to the fucking list.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about...
I'll just do an intro for it. You think that Nickelodeon learned their lesson? Go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna talk about react to that right now. Because if we don't talk about it now, we'll never talk about it.
Yeah, you would think that Nickelodeon learned their lesson dealing with internet people after Fred the Show. Apparently not, because they did a thing with Fine Bros.
Yeah, and breadwinners. Who could forget breadwinners? You can't forget breadwinners.
That's a story for a previous episode. But apparently not, because React to that is a thing, thanks to the fucking Fine Bros.
Oh, Fine Bros, yeah. If you want to learn about our feelings about that, go check out the reaction episode of our show. But
Yeah.
bottom story short, we gotta talk about react to that and the catastrophe it was.
Alright. So basically, it's a really, 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 really dumbed down version of their reaction show with the kids and the teenagers.
Now, here's the thing about that concept. From what I know about the Fine Bros is that they make kids to What's the appeal of reactions? Like, you react to things that are, I don't know, not appropriate for TV?
Yeah, but this is them reacting to generic crap you'd find everywhere.
Yeah, like literally, who would react to that stuff in the same way? Like, seriously, you need to make... The only way I could ever see that concept even slightly working is if they put it on, I don't know, an adult network so they can show adult things that are not suitable for Nickelodeon. They could at least...
Anyway, this show ran for 2 weeks. This show ran for 2 weeks at the end of 2014. Nickelodeon ordered 13 episodes, but they only aired 12. And the Fine Brothers would not see another spot on TV again until they produced this show, 6 Degrees of Everything, for True TV.
And even then, like, seriously, like, that's not... It's just sad that they ruined us. They ruined our
It's like
community.
everyone. It's like every TV network has their own opinion on YouTube content, and they integrate with YouTube content in their own ways, and some of it kind of sucks. Like Nickelodeon had Awesomeness TV. I don't necessarily call it a nitcom because it's just a compilation of shit from Awesomeness TV's MCN. But when are we ever going to talk about this again?
Oh yes, Awesomeness TV. I remember that shit show. The issue with that show,
It was pretty much.
Something that it was some.
Go ahead.
I remember it was something that. What's the word? It was something that Daniela Monet hosted, and I remember the episodes that they aired. I remember searching some up after. I saw they were on YouTube. Like, why would I watch?
It actually started with Daniela Monet, but then in the later seasons they replaced the guest presenter every so often. But here's the thing: all the show is just a compilation of shit from their YouTube channel, interspersed with stuff from the guest presenter.
Yes, then that's like the most despicable thing I can ever think of. That'd be like if every YRC Raw SmackDown episode was inserted with an episode of Clover the Sloth from me. I would never do something like that.
The best way I can describe Awesomeness TV is it's like Tosh.0 for dipshits.
Tosh. Like.
Tosh.0 was a Comedy Central show where the guy talked about YouTube videos. But the thing is, like, at least Tosh.0 had some effort into it. They included the clips, yes, but they also like slowed it down, analyzed it, gave community takes about it. All this show has is like all Awesomeness TV has is you see an internet thing and a guy like, wow, that was cool, right? And then another internet thing, and then back to the other guy, I'm thirsty. And then another internet thing.
Now here's the thing about all of this just makes your blood boil. Like it, especially in our community when you have to deal with all the suppression. And God,
honestly, if I have to point to a good example of YouTube content being integrated goodly, I'd have to say Player Select from DXP. Because, like, even though it's using clips of popular Let's Players, they're at least editing them and putting their own spin on them, giving them their own cartoony comedic twist. I actually prefer some of Jacksepticeye's videos on Disney over Jacksepticeye's videos Raw.
Yeah, like, the thing, it's just so... like, you can't, like, it's just detrimental. Now, the final thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about two things. About Danger Force, and we're going to have to talk about the Dan Schneider situation. Oh boy. Okay, let's talk about Danger Force. Danger Force, it's fucking horrible. Like, you make a sequel, you make a spinoff of a show that the creator doesn't have control over. It's like, oh wait, this is just Camp Coral. And it's the Patrick Star show.
Oh boy.
God, this is nothing new. This does not feel Nickelodeon is. This is the Nickelodeon thing. They love to fuck you over with their creations. Once you're dead or gone or fired, like they like to fuck you over and make a million spin-offs just because they can't make anything original because Cartoon Network and Disney Channel and everyone else is doing better than them, and they don't like to admit that, and they like to crush my spirits all the fucking time and make me regret ever liking them in the first place when I should have just been watching normal Cartoon Network instead as a kid and should have shat on SpongeBob every day and then.
Tix, breathe. Calm down. You're gonna have a pop a blood vessel.
I've already popped plenty. Now, here's the. It's just these are the types of network decisions that make you rethink your childhood a million times over, and make you want to praise the critics that crushed your dreams. Yeah, one day I'm coming for you, Mr. Enter.
Oh boy. I mean, it's like, honestly, the shows that Mr. Ender and those people say are bad, they do have their problems, and they are, and in some cases, they are, in fact, fundamentally bad. But the thing is, like, as a child, you don't know that. Like 10-year-olds aren't supposed to be able to comprehend the idea of decent plot structure or good humor. They just see pretty colors and things go boom. But, like, that doesn't mean it's like, well, that means we can feel better about ourselves for liking the stupid shit we did. That doesn't excuse the people that made the shows for treating us that way in making the shows the way they did. Like, we can enjoy what we want to enjoy. We can look back on what we want to look back on. The important thing is, like, we know better now, and we become better people. And hopefully we can pave the way for more creative and interesting projects for our kids.
Yeah, and that's why I'm just trying to think, like, why it just feels like betrayal in most cases. Like, you need to the bigger picture. Yeah, it just feels like like now that we've now Danger Force, it's a shit show with a shit concept, shit actors, just everything that Henry Danger was the first, and I'm not gonna go over everything again. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Stick your feet out, jokes, because we're talking about Jan Snyder.
Yeah, like, before we get to the allegations, let's get into some general weirdness. He's a foot freak, and you can kind of tell if you look at his shows because they have like weird, funny things to do with feet. And Nickelodeon had that foot logo for a time.
Oh God. Honestly, now I used to didn't think that, but now I can't unsee it.
You're welcome. Anyway, then there's the weird and uncomfortable situations. You'd see them with the child actors sniffing their hair, taking the selfies, and things like that.
And this is why Game Shakers was canceled early on. It was canceled after like the 3rd season.
Yeah, it ended in 2018.
Yeah, like it ended on a fucking cliffhanger. It didn't have a concrete ending.
I like to think that the thing about cliffhangers, there's one of two reasons why a show would end with a cliffhanger. Number one, the people working on the show did not know it was going to be canceled, and they planned to resolve the plot point in the next season that they never get. Or, number two, they know damn well that they're going to be canceled, and by ending with a cliffhanger, they're hoping they can set up future events, like they get picked up by another network and continue through them. But it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, like, seriously, like, why would you do that? Like, it just feels like that. Now we have to talk about all of these allegations. We haven't talked about like so many stars over the years have been so many people that were big and have had allegations against them for so many things. Like recently, one of our favorite things to react to got allocated of something. Now he's gone and out. We're not going to mention his
Like, why
name,
are
but he was.
there allegations and everything
But he was.
touch?
Yeah. So the thing about Dan Schneider is that he's been around a while and he's seen a lot of things. He even got a special Nickelodeon blimp at the golden one at the Kids' Choice Award for Best Content Creator.
Uh,
oh,
oh, God.
oh God, that's funny. So basically, to put it simply, he likes putting kids' foots in his mouth.
Did that happen?
Did I stutter? Basically, foot fetish. He's around kids. He made kids do foot things. He jacks off to them.
He didn't jack off in front of them, did he?
I don't know. All I know is that he did horrible things. They're allegations. Like, I don't know the whole story.
Oh my God.
Like, uh, so we're kind of just falling on dead ears at this point.
Yeah, it looks like the bell to end the episode's about to ring any minute. That's not a bell. Stupid soundboard.
Okay, so basically, so now that we finally destroyed Nickelodeon, we're probably only going to bring it up once it comes into a topic in a future episode. Who knows? Maybe you'll finally get that. Maybe you'll finally get that 4Kids episode. We'll get to talk about Furry Force.
But anyways, no, Furry Force isn't for kids. That's college humor. But anyways, that does it for SmackDown. Tune in for Raw on Monday, where we're gonna react to things, and Nick's gonna play Brad Bandicoot.
And then me and GH are gonna torture him and make it hard for him. Because we've suffered the pain.
Well, no, we're gonna be all like good cop, bad cop. Like it's gonna be like it's like one of us will probably want to torture him and make him cry, and another one of us will be like, no, do this, go here, go there.
Yes. Yeah, I already know. Yeah, exactly. He will suffer the pain of Road to Nowhere. That fucking bridge that made me throw my controller.
It's just a straight line.
Yeah. You keep thinking that. Okay, so. Okay.
Anyway, and next week's SmackDown is what now?
Next week's SmackDown is phone companies, the one that was originally going to be the pilot, except Xbox stole that monocle.
Yeah, Xbox took our spot, and they're rolling into money.
Yeah, so
money, get it?
Yeah, next week we're going to talk about the various phone companies. And hopefully DC Antonio will be there to keep me from destroying everyone. Because, yeah. Fuck you, Jace Norman. I hate you. You ruined everything for me. Oh, next. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll talk about the sitcoms of Disney.
Maybe. We'll see. But in the meantime, I think that's about everything, unless we want to waste time playing with my soundboard some more.
Oh, Disney sitcoms. Sitcoms. You really had to hurt me. Hold on, I gotta ping DSIM so we can get this over with. Just gonna do a little bit more. I just gotta say one other thing, like, Nickelodeon sitcoms, you had so much potential, but you fell on my non-existent ears, because Powerpuff Girls don't have visible ears. But now, at least now, you can know that you have a gigantic nub pushing you down into the depths of hell where you now belong. Okay. There.